Go live. Good evening, everybody. Okay, we're going to read herscherik. We're going to read herscherik. And we're going to read herscherik and the Reincarnated Prince series. Okay. Okay, just making sure. Alright, my audio's in check right now, so my audio's okay. Everything's okay. There's no lag, no everything. Finally. Finally. Well, I had a bunch of troubleshooting. So I was actually doing a bunch of troubleshooting. Okay, we can finally start now. That's a good thing, right? Isn't it? So, okay. Let me just get some water first. Just wait a minute. Okay, I'm back. Okay, everything starts here. Okay. Just always need to always double check the audio. Should be higher than music though. Just so you guys can hear me. Guys. Okay. herscherik, the Reincarnated Prince series. Prologue. An unexpected pour-down, game, and traffic accident. Yay! She was a normal woman that can be found anywhere. Her family was composed of 5 people. Her parents, 2 little sisters. If anything, because she was the oldest daughter, her sense of responsibility was strong. However, she was a person with no particular outstanding talent, and even her looks were normal. The only difference she had in general public was that she loved games, manga, novel, and since childhood, and was not able to break away from that. She frequented manga cafes instead of participating in group dates. She was more absorbed in games rather than mere chatting. Instead of enjoying the sea in the summer, she gave priority to the lining up in comic market acquiring spoiled war. She was that kind of hardcore otaku. Before she knew it, she was already over 30 years old. Otaku. My boyfriend won't come out of screen. When asked about marriage towards the eldest daughter who said that with a straight face, the parents said, "This child is really hopeless." As if realizing the various meaning, she stuck her tongue out of her relatives who seemed embarrassed deep inside while adding, "'Cause they're two-dimensional," to which she got several scolding from her mother later on. She winced at her mother's fists. Fortunately, the attack stopped shortly thanks to her relatives setting up the marriage in Turkey. Because they're two-dimensional. Such women worked as the office staff at the headquarters of a certain company listed in stocks exchange. Because her income was little and high than other the same sex and generation, she got a loan and purchased an apartment near her parents' home during her late 20s in consideration of their old age. Neither had intention to marry nor she had a lover. She aimed for early full payment, but by any chance she got married. Living in her apartment is alright, and selling it is also fine too. She looked forward to a quiet, carefree life, alone while focusing on appearance and the life of the old age. She gave priority to her hobby, even for a job as office worker in the company. She trained a junior, and before she knew it, the junior obtained the departmental position, while shedding tears as the junior painstakingly raised to become in charge of another department. She trained another one again. She spent every day productively. She had no doubt that that's the kind of life will continue until her retirement age. However, this daily life will never change for the better or will really end. The day before her 35th birthday, it was near winter. It was near winter rather than a deep autumn. There was a sudden rain which she left the company. After working overtime, it was cold and visible. It was bad. The striking rain was so noisy that it seemed as if the background would be hollowed out. The forecast said it would be just a drizzle. Ryoko took out her favorite floating umbrella from the back while sighting. There was a low chance of rain according to the morning weather forecast. And even if it rained, it would immediately stop. The forecast was totally wrong. I could eat dinner somewhere while taking shelter from the rain. But there's something I need to do today. Idiot rain. Ryoko sighed while getting fed up inwardly. For Ryoko, today did not only mean as the day before her 35th birthday. It is also the long-awaited release date of the new ultimate game Ryoko has been waiting for more than half a year. Ultimate. Nevertheless, it's regrettable that she has to work overtime. Usually, she does not work overtime. She leaves her seat at a fixed time, disregarding the imploring pleas of her co-workers. However, the boss entrusted a job that must be finished today no matter what. It was a sad fate, a working adult that cannot decline. However, time will not turn back, no matter how much she regretted it. In order to obtain the game even a little early and increase her playtime, she opened the umbrella and jogged to her favorite game shop. Her intended game shop was a favorite shop from high school days. The reason why she still prepare and buy it in the store, even though it could be ordered online and sent to one's home nowadays, was because she was acquainted to a female clerk who kept of all the latest production, that she could reserve product that couldn't be reserved. Even if it was actually so embarrassing for a woman past her 30s to purchase, she did not have any regret. If she passed it, if she can passionately talk about her fetish with the clerk. Oh, that's a signal. Her monologue increased as she began a lively outlook, saying shorts while watching televisions while shooting the clerks. The traffic light was a long way in front of her, while a last barrier to her destination. Moreover, in the cold temperature and heavy rain, waiting a long time was tough. Besides, a floating umbrella was inadequate to defend against heavy rain. Even her newly bought boots, favorite coat, and expensive brand bag was soaked wet due to the rain. Ryoko broke into them and began crossing the Poseidon land. The bag visibly and her head filled with the game she will be playing after this reduced her attentiveness remarkably. The moment Ryoko stepped on the second white line of the crosswalk, the horn reverberated as tearing up in the sound of rain. When she turned her head towards the sound, her white light followed by a dull crash change into the sky and the ground like a slow motion. Finally, a din-like sound echoed. The scenery disappeared from her vision and it became pitch black. I need to contact Nessa. and tell her that I won't ever go today. Nessa thought Ryoko was thinking about such thing. Her consciousness stopped snappily as a switch has been pushed. Hayaka Ryoko, who lived the ordinary life, had met her quick demise in a traffic accident the day before she turned 30. That is the first chapter. And it was, okay, it's a bit lit and have to introduce a translator, but out of respect, right? See, right? Lord. It's a bit hard right now. Whatever. whatever. Alright. Chapter 1. Reincarnation, Penny Maple, Leaves, and Squishy Cheeks. Through the darkness, the scenery spread out instantly, and it became bright as the illumination Sally placed before her, and Hayaka Ryoko squinted her eyes. And when the dim view gradually became clear, there was a porch light Mio showed no memory of, and a spoon being gripped by her hand. Huh? Together with that remark came out of her mouth. Ryoko dropped the spoon as she was holding to the plate. The impact of the spoon falling into the plate with porridge-like substance made it splatter and soil her clothes. The spoon jumped out of the plate and made sounds as it rolled up to the top of the table. The clean tabletop was stained with porridge. A small sighted woman reached to the ears of Ryoko, sniffing, unable to understand the situation. When Ryoko slowly turned to that direction, a woman who looked around 20 years old, with brown hair, pulled-back bun, wearing a simple but elegant dress, smiled wryly. Slightly drooping big eyes are charming. Men around the world will surely want to protect her, Ryoko thought. Slightly drooping big brown eyes are charming. Men around the world will surely want to protect her. The woman picked up the phone spoon, wiped it with a dishcloth, and placed it on a tray on top of the side cart. She moved the plate, still filled with porridge, to the place original to Yoko and promptly tidied up the tabletop. Lastly, she wiped Yoko's soiled clothes with a napkin. There, it's clean. The woman said so and smiled. The baby wanted to do it by himself because she didn't know he cannot eat properly. Oh, because she knows he cannot eat properly. This was within her assumption. However, for the perpetrator who made the disaster on the table, for Haka Ryoko, the current situation was beyond range of assumption. It was both out of the blue. What? 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 First, she cannot talk very well. The expression that came out of her mouth were not words, but merely sounds. Even when she tried moving her body, she can just barely flap her arms and legs. Her fingers did not move as she expected. Ryoko has turned her head and looked at her right hand. It was a fair-skinned, small hand similar to the baby's. The white, small maple leaf-like hand opened and closed slowly as she expected. Then she expected. What the heck is this? A dream? A dream? But on my perspective, no. No, wait a moment. I'll become awesome. I'm a type of woman who can do anything once I put my mind to it. Ryoko was on the verge of panic and tried to persuade herself to calm down. By the way, her mother always told her that she was stupid because she refused to do something even though she was able to do it. Ryoko looked at her left hand next. Her left hand next. As the small white hand moved according to her thoughts. However, the woman was very sluggish like her right hand. A dream about reincarnation manga I read the other day, or rather, a novel. Which reminds me, I remembered I played a game like this too. Ryoko remembered a manga, novel, and game she recently addicted to. Before she knew it, a female high school student was already a different person in another world. Thereupon, a romance drama of a handsome man unfolded. The body she reincarnated into was a beautiful appearance that was unimaginably. In Japan, she had reflexes that would have been astonished an Olympic athlete, and was the possessor of a superior magic power. Such a woman was praised by her earnest childhood friend. The knight once pled his allegiance to her while anguished over his romantic feelings, and she was even captivated. The villain at one stage. The villain's defeat was really interesting. I wonder if there's a sequel. No, that's it, Yoko. There's no time to be grinning while reminiscing. This is a dream. A dream. You have to wake up to go to the game that you deserved. Ryoko made a soft retort. A retort in her mind and slapped her cheeks with small hands while the cheek sound was the only feeling of squishy ringing in her palm. Cheek, or wide, or rather than a face, they were cheeks. They were small. They were soft for some reason. Soft? They're without a doubt squishy cheeks. They probably feel better than my own knees. Nieces. Among Ryoko's family of 5 composed of parents and 3 daughters, she was the eldest of all 3 sisters. The parents were not strict to the 3 women, but they were fault finders. Among such sisters, the The second daughter married early than Ryoko and gave birth to a daughter. That niece was the first grandchild to Ryoko's parent and was really adorable like an angel. Rather, because she was too cute. Ryoko's parent endlessly brought everything. The hardships the three sisters experienced to stop them were now good memories. Can I not hear? Denise, who was promoted to grade school this year, had a precious personality particular to the girls and was heading to rebellious age. Her parents were troubled, but the child became emotionally attached to her aunt Ryoko. For some reason, I never opposed her. It was also inconvenient that she threw a tantrum whenever she came over, since she wanted to stay. Simply speaking, Ryoko wanted to hide everything that lured her niece into two-dimensional power, which is nothing but bad influence to her. Her niece was cute, but Ryoko did not want anything that would lead her to the same road as herself. She had the sentiment of her aunt. However, if her niece wanted to go down and head to that road, Ryoko will always back her up with all her strength. My, what's wrong? Herscherik-sama? Sama? The brown-haired woman spoke with a smile. It was a woman from Ryoko's trouble a while ago. Apparently, Ryoko named herscherik, and the woman doesn't seem like her mother. Ryoko intended to apologize, but a lovely voice came out of her mouth. Unfortunately, she still cannot speak. Have you already finished eating? Or can you still eat? The woman sat so and placed a newly prepared steaming dish on a table. In addition, she scooped the pork using a new spoon, blew it several times and let it cool, and brought it to Ryoko's mouth. It was a simple dish of sweet potatoes and rice simmered together. Ryoko started eating it. It was very much Ryoko feeling eating it very much and bit it into the spoon. The rice current by itself is salty, the potato is sweet. It's easy to eat, and the exquisite taste spread in her mouth. Is it delicious? Is it good? Isn't it? Ryoko was thinking of answering the woman that was delicious, but what came out of her mouth was still baby talk instead of words. However, the woman smiled as if satisfied, scooping the rice porridge once again, pressing it to Ryoko. Ryoko was not aware of herself, but since she was famished, Ryoko ate the food presented to her without a pause. Is it like a young bird I kept a long time ago? The bird in herself carried a delicate atmosphere, but insufferable appetite. When she finished eating the content of the plate, she let a shameful bird. The woman who heard that gently wiped Ryoko's mouth with a napkin, then tenderly dropped her off from the baby's chair into soft carpet. Then a stuffed animal that was probably a dog placed near Ryoko as a kudo from the parents' house. It was a stuffed toy, a black dog same size as herself. It reminds her of a black dog being kept in her parents' house. While Ryoko tried to touch it, she immediately liked the silky fur that fused to the torch. Rather, it was probably placed beside her because it was her favorite. She saw off the woman. She placed her dish on the cart and went out to put them away. Miyoko then surveyed the room. This room was not her apartment. Even if all the room in her own home was added up, this area was still good, even more suspicious. Even more suspicious. The room was European style in the Middle Age, found in fantasy novels. Instantly, she realized that the woman from before was wearing a dress that also came out of the novel. The room had a calm, deep green wallpaper, a bed with attached canopy, and soft, fluffy carpet. Even the quality of the furniture, such as the sofa, were good. Miyoko unconsciously thought of how many months of her salary they cost. There were also fireplace and portrait of beautiful blonde woman displayed above it. The pose of that woman was similar to the one displayed in the art room, often come out of the school's seventh wonder. Nashiki me. Mostly seven wonders. Nana Fushigi. I wonder if the eyes move at night. The muscles along her spine froze as soon as she got that. Ryoko had always been weak at those kind of stories and hated them to death. Ryoko turned to look at other places, but she lost her balance and tumbled over her back. She didn't feel any pain, all thanks to the expensive looking carpet. Instead, it was comfortable. The warm sunlight from the window attached to the balcony induced drowsiness. I want to nap. Just as she arrived at that thought, Ryoko snapped out of it. This isn't time to take a nap. Ryoko tossed about to get up. She got up, as expected. Suddenly sitting up was impossible with the body of a baby. Well, there was always the hardship of 30-something's floppy stomach and original body. Even if she looked around, she couldn't discover anything new. Ryoko looked at her body again. Small hands, short arms, and legs. Flappy stomach. I'm a baby no matter how much you look at it. I'm truly thankful. Ryoko was lost in thought. Before I came to this body, what was I doing? While recalling the memories of her own body, she crossed her arm and became short and placed her forehead. I worked overtime, even though it was the same game release date. When I left the company, there was heavy rain. Unexpected rain, and green light began to flicker. Loud car horn, white light, sky ground, dull sound, screams, and angry roar. And then, pitch black. Guessing from there, Ryoko understood the cruel reality that could lead to nothing, but she's convinced. That's right. I died. そうだ。私、死ねよ。死ねです。Alright. Next page. Oh, wait a moment. Bedtime. This is chapter 1. Reincarnation, tiny maple leaves and squishy cheeks. Part 2. Ryoko consent to reality that she died in a traffic accident. She cannot hope but be content. Ryoko remembered that was a setting that happened quite often in manga and novel. She illustrated herself and even games. After a high school student or university student died from a traffic accident or disease, in modern Japan, they reincarnated a different world with memories of their previous life. Then saved the world and conquered a royal world fantasy that was very popular. To think that someone in their 30s will actually have such a light novel setting. Ryuko have then become exhausted and lying on a soft, fluffy carpet again. With this body of a baby that won't move as Ryoko intended, even sitting down was a heavy labor. For the time being, the apartment's loan will be clear since I died. Ryoko recalled her previous life while looking at the ceiling absentmindedly. They say they don't know what will happen, but in the life of Ryoko never thought she was able to reflect on the things she left undone after dying. The game reservation was alright since it had been cancelled. It'll calm down. Don't claim it on that day. Nay, I once worked overtime and wasn't able to go. And I received a refreshing call from a shopkeeper friend the next day saying, "Yo, you're gonna get it, right?" She probably worried by now. I feel guilty. The Onesan shopkeeper Ryoko was acquainted with since high school days, was only person Ryoko can reveal herself as otaku self. Other than her family, she always welcomed Ryoko with a smile. When she visited the shop, that made Ryoko inevitably respond with a smile. One-san, sonotaku. That reminds me, the deadline at work is close too. I was thinking of doing it tomorrow, but I haven't uploaded data. Did the newbie girl handle it? The department head will patch things up. We were also a manual, so I want to think I will be alright. I'm glad I made a manual just in case. I told my junior, if I die or disappear one day, or sometimes, anytime, so I made a guide. But the me at the time never imagined what actually happened. Ryoko was overcome with deep emotions. Lastly, I want to erase my PC data before my sister and parents discover them. As far as Ryoko was concerned, this was her only real regret. Data that cannot be shown to others were saved in a computer in her house. It was like a Pandora's box opened filled of her dark history, such as R-rated stuff, literary creation and poems she wrote from a long time ago. Frankly, it is possible to be weird. I want to delete them. Everything. That was real thought. Frankly, it's possible. Since I've driven my sister also. If I die, splash my PC with water until it's impossible to start it anymore, okay? If you look at what's inside, I'm gonna haunt you at your bedside. It's fine. It will be fine, right? Seriously? If they saw it, I'm gonna die. No, I'm already dead. But I reincarnated, so I won't be able to haunt them. Ryoko feel remorse. If they saw it, I'm gonna die. No, I'm already died. I can't watch the drama I've been saving up the past 9 months either. Since she was busy with work, she wanted to watch drama and anime, no matter how much she record them. The capacity of her hard drive is always at its very limited. She intended to watch them in the weekend, but always forget. It was quite common, even though she recorded from the first to last episode. She ended up deleting them without watching. Which reminds me, I was supposed to return to my parents' home this weekend. They always prepare cakes I really want to eat. They were probably worried about Ryoko being unmarried. But she was always invited to her parents' house during birthdays, Christmas, and even if there's no event, they give some reason once a month. Ryoko recalled that even her lazy younger sister was poor at corresponding some emails for some strange reason. She recalled they barely gathered a little. Little sister, even after little sister married. But if everyone did gather, they were bought slightly expensive ice cream. Ryoko realized the moment she reflected that far. She thought other things as much as possible, and although she prevented thinking of those things, since she did not want to realize, she still arrived there after all. I cannot meet my family, my college, my friends, and even acquaintances anymore. The insides of her nose become painful. The corner of her eyes become hot. The sensation filling up her throat was soft. She was overwhelmed with emotions. The last time she saw her family was a month ago. Her stock of rice ran out, so she went to her parents' home and ate dinner. Tell us ahead of time if you're going to come home. Ryoko scolded while her mom scolded Ryoko while Ryoko drank beer with her father. And she was seen out by her mother, who told her to come back because she would prepare a cake for her birthday in the weekend. The night of the next day, her younger sister sent emails saying, "We'll go to your birthday party. Look forward to your presents." There was no need to greet me at this age, she thought. She was happy. I was really looking forward to the presents. There was a slight changes. She didn't expect that ordinary life would continue. But she expected that her ordinary life would continue. She would probably get married in the future. If she wouldn't, she would continue to work while looking after her old parents. She will favor her little sister's children, work until retirement age and live off her savings. Enter the retirement home before becoming senile, and have her sister prepared a funeral at her death. She did not have any intentions to die earlier than her parents at all. But still, she was awfully an unfound person. I'm sorry for being such an unfound, hopeless big sister. The baby's cries resounded in the room. At the cry that was silly resound, the wet nurse Maria returned to the room in a hurry. Usually the boy was always in a good mood after a meal. He only cried at night. He was a cheerful boy, and the whole day as long as his and not a stuffed dog beside him. A doll crying is the baby's job. Herscherik does not really do that work. In reality, he is really a baby who does not need a lot of looking after. He was so independent to the extent that it's worrying. He sleeps a lot, eats a lot, laughs a lot. And children who seem to be like the mirror of a baby. When Maria came rushing out of the room, Herscherik was lying on the carpet on his back, crying with a red face. Herscherik-sama, are you perhaps hurt? Maria held the baby in her arms and rubbed the back of his head to examine it. However, there was no lump. Instead, the back of his head was an excellent shape. When she leaned the baby against her and made him comfortable and rubbed at his back, he let out a tiny voice as she responded to it. Maria leaked out a sigh, and Herscherik began to calm down. Were you afraid that you fell down, Herscherik-sama? Maria stood up with Herscherik while he stood her arms repeatedly swayed Herscherik to soothe him. Look, your face has turned deep red. She told him alone at him. She'd look at him alone to look at a life-size mirror. Because Herscherik was a naturally fair skin, and her reddened cheeks stood out very much. Maria stood in front of the mirror, and Herscherik peered into the mirror. That's right, he cries. Right then, his cries suddenly stopped. He stopped so suddenly that it was unnatural, so Maria also looked into the mirror. Herscherik is perfectly round body hardened. Herscherik's perfectly round body hardened. Then he pinched his reddened cheeks with his finger. Herscherik-sama, it will hurt if you pinch his cheeks. Herscherik showed him gently and removed his small hands from his cheeks. Also, Herscherik's eyes remained wide open in perfect circles. Seriously? Herscherik was so surprised that she thought. Oh, Ryoko was so surprised that she thought of her falling tears drew back and was lost for word. Reflecting in the mirror was precisely the angel, a smooth, pale-colored blonde hair and good-looking features, and attached to that face are blue jade-like eyes. One would be convinced this person will absolutely become a pale-skinned, beautiful girl in the future. A scholar in television once said, "Babies are born cute in order for everyone to love them." But this exceeded that range. Babies are born cute in order for everyone to love them, huh? Ryoko was by no means neuristic. Perhaps, actually, she was aware of her appearance in a previous life was just good enough to be considered the lower middle side. If she had to say, she disliked her looks. When she was praised, "What the hell are you scheming?" That was her thought. Let's just read that paragraph again. Babies are born cute in order for everyone to love them. Ryoko was by no means neuristic. Actually, she was aware of her parents in her previous life that was just good enough to be considered in the lower middle side. If she had to say, she disliked her looks. When she was praised, "What the hell are you scheming?" That was what she thought. However, she was disappointed. She was a disappointing human whose face turned bright red and been in agony when capture targets from Otome games whispered to her. Otome? Is this the word of Otome game? Is this the word of Otome game? Ryoko made a gut pose in her mind. She suddenly felt sorry for her parents. Not being able to meet her little sister was also sad. Ryoko was ran over and crashed the street during a blinking green light. Sympathize with the driver who shouldered the crime of accidental homicide. There is the Poseidon Street crossing during driver's turn. They should stop. It's also their fault for not doing their obligations to check whether there's a Poseidon or not. Fortunately, although she died, she can literally start a second life while having memories of her previous life. And furthermore, with the appearance of a beautiful girl, it doesn't particularly mean she disliked her previous appearance, because her mother gave birth to her through hardships, and father who worked with utmost effort to nurture her. However, like the heroine of a manga and protagonist of a comic, everyone known for a lovely appearance at least once. Even men yearn for a position in the protagonist and the leading male leads in the game and the manga. Probably Otome? Vivid blonde hair, blue eyes. Thank you, God. Thank you very much. Ryoko sincerely expressed her gratitude to the god. She does not believe in her previous life. Should I change the diaper soon? The wet nurse laid the baby on bed and started to change the diaper for practice time. Saying it is inevitably indeed embarrassing. What? Ryoko turned her head for a fleeting glance, saw a lower part of her body. Thereupon exists something that was not there in her previous life. The only memory Ryoko had seen it up front during her life when she took a bath with her father before she entered elementary school. Right, that thing the females usually does not have. It's between Ryoko's leg. Whoa! Wow! I can't. Sorry. The cry of a baby echoed through the room again. This way, Ryoko will be incarnated into the prince whose look can be mistaken as a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. The seventh prince, herscherik of the greatest kingdom. Let me just check how long we're into the stream. 48 minutes. So, how about we end the stream today? That's chapter 1, alright? Yay! Thank you for coming. And yeah, we're gonna end this soon.